Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to analyze my game against a woman FM. I played this game in a rapid tournament in Ruby. It was a really interesting game. I got a winning position, but by intuition, I knew I was winning, but I didn't realize what was the reason actually. And so I just sacrificed a pawn, and then I realized the key to win that position was my pawn. So I'm going to show you just exact position, and I hope you learn about this game. So we get into it. So I played d4 Sicilian, and I am playing this gambit against higher rated players. It's not a good habit actually, but you get them out of theory. That's a good thing. Well, not always, but normally you get them kind of out of theory. They don't know the majority of the engine moves, and you have an attacking position. And this is something I learned from Juan Bellon, the father of Anna Kramling. He's playing that higher rated players, strong players, okay, with equal material positions, just a normal position, and they are going to beat you by their technique and good play. But if you give them one pawn and you have activity and compensation, that is really annoying for them. So after he's playing this, I looked for some lines in rapid to sacrifice a pawn and getting compensation. And this is one I found for Sicilia with white. And I'm even thinking about playing it in classical sometimes. Now I'm going to stick with it for rapid, but it's an option at some point. So, of course, my opponent just took my pawn. Like, why would you do anything else? And I played d4. That's a3 too, but I prefer playing d4, and I think I have more chances. My opponent played g6, kind of a strange move. I assume she didn't knew any of the theory, so she just went for a move that got me out of theory too, and a schematic position that she knew already. I just played a natural move, knight f3. a3 was good, but it just 0.2 for the engine. It's important, but for us, it doesn't really matter. Bishop g7 after a, and now I play a3 because I realize, well, now I have an attack. It's a typical pawn sacrifice of this opening, and I love it because I get this active bishop, and now knight c6. And well, it's fine, it's a natural position. But okay, we still have an attack, but it's not that clear. Like, that's the reason why this gambit is not really good. It's because black is completely fine. Even he has the pawn, they have the pawn advantage, and we have compensation, but not enough. But it's still a really interesting weapon. And now d5, a strange move. Normally I play e5 against this type of moves, just for one reason, to close up the bishop, and that's annoying for them. But this time I saw that if I took, I could play knight d2 and get active with my knight, my bishop, and castling. And he has, well, in this case, she has three pieces out, and I have four pieces out. Well, four pieces out, I'm castled, and I will have the queen out, and I'm active as well. So I like the position. Yeah, you see, I said it here in my analysis for the forums. And after knight h6, Here I already thought I was better. I just stick with my plan, bishop c4. I liked it. As you see, zero point 0.2 already. Not a really huge advantage, but that means even with being up and down, I have enough compensation. Queen d8, the best move. Kind of strange that for me that she went there, but it was the only safe square. Like Queen d7, that could be tactics. Queen d8 was just a natural square. I assume Queen d7 was fine as well, but there were, I don't know, 94 business with 95 ideas. I don't know. It's kind of slow. Like the engine asks me to be faster. It's not a mistake, but the engine asks me to be faster. As you see, I said this in my analysis. I just had to be a little bit more active, pushing. I didn't want her bishop getting into my position, so that's the castle, rook d8 in accuracy because it doesn't make much sense. No? That rook in e8, what is it doing actually? Like it's supporting e5, but e5 is a bad idea. And this makes me think about prophylaxis. I learned from GM Cascon that thinking prophylactically is not just not allowing your opponent to to make an idea, but just taking it into consideration. If your opponent is making a wrong plan or idea, you just have to take that into consideration, and it's already prophylaxis. You're already thinking prophylactically. So I learned that, and in this case, actually, it was bef- 2 days before the game that I learned that, and I thought about it now. So I just allowed e5 because I saw I had d5, and I thought I was better. And it's a mistake e5, of course, because if you see d5, it was clear I'm fine already, and I'm really active. It's a good knight, good bishop, good pawn. Well, actually, two good bishops. Now it's closed, but in one move it opens, and the pawn will be supported by the other bishop. So now knight a5, I think only move probably to keep on the game. Like if she had played 97, I think it was just, I don't know, 94, d6, everything worked there. So knight a5, winning a tempo. Bishop a2. Oh wait, one. Bishop a2. I put it in doubt as an inaccuracy because it first said so. While I think the engine put it out as inaccuracy, now it says is the best move. Know why? I think engine said something with bishop b5 or something like that, or just ignoring it and playing. I don't know. I don't even remember what was the clear idea. But bishop a2 it said it was an inaccuracy at first, as you see here. Here she played b6. It says it's an accuracy. I say it's a mistake because it does nothing for her position, completely nothing. F5 was way more annoying because it didn't allow 94. Now I had 94, but I just thought F5. Now I see that there's 96 and I'm crashing him. Well, in this case again, her. But I was playing C1, preparing this kind of moves, losing a chance. After bishop d7, I still have 94. So now I play it. And now knight b7. Another good move. Like, imagine how good the position was that it says that rook c8 was the best move. Like, look at this. 94, rook c8, and it seems like I have 96 now. Yeah, I should have 96. But imagine how good is this knight that it it's not beneficial to trade it for one rook. Good, yeah, but it's not really the best choice to make because our knight is so good that trading it for a rook is not that smart because we have a central knight. The central knight is usually the best piece on the board. Of course, putting out the queen. Of course, I don't think any human being would play rook c8, just allowing a fork. The engine is just crazy. Maybe 7, good move. And I played knight eg5, just trying to play aggressively and thinking about d6 and attacking the pawn, but it wasn't really, really smart. The right move was just to gain a space with d6, gaining a space, getting the bishop active. It did two things. It was a multi-purpose move, and it was really good. Just d6, I was a comfortable position already. Now rook c8. Now I play d6 like there was absolutely no reason not play d6. And after this d6, my opponent is already defending, but she misses again with knight c5. Wait, what is this? Okay. Then after knight c5, it seems like I already have had tactics. Or just gaining space with queen d2. I put that in my analysis. I just played h4, preparing tactics in f7. As you see, my thought process is still the same. I still think about going for the pawn in f7. I have to change that. That's the reason why I'm analyzing this, to improve that thought. In this case, I had to gain a space with my queen and prepare the same ideas because the idea of queen d2, yeah, is to activate the queen, and it's good, yeah. But we are still preparing the tactic. With queen d2, again, multi-purpose. Like, because you're threatening the same idea. h4, the idea is to protect the knight. So you can play knight takes f7, knight takes, and then a move like knight g at some point when you take the knight. Bishop takes knight, pawn takes, knight takes f7, knight takes, and then knight g5. And there you have a sacrifice, like I'm going to show you if you haven't followed my calculations. Queen d2, for example, I don't know, I will just make a silly move. I don't know, a6, for example. It's a really bad, damn move, but okay, it's a move. a6, for example. It's a huge mistake for sure. Oh, it's not a huge mistake. It was my calculation. Bishop takes knight, after rook takes, knight takes, and I have calculated lines like this. Of course, it's a mistake. Like going this tricky, it's normally not good because he can play rook f8 and I have nothing actually. But I wanted to prepare this type of tactics, and they work if I have something covering the knight in g5. In this case, they don't work because they just defend. But I was thinking for the future. h4, it's a missed chance because I had this queen d2 move, of course. But it's second engine choice because it does quite the same, but in a better way. That's usually my problem with the engines. They do the same as me, but in a greater way, with, of course, very deep calculation. That's the difference between humans and engines. They do sometimes engines go in a really strange way, but they normally sometimes they play normal chess, but they just calculate deeper and see better ideas. Well, h4 now it doesn't say second, it says third, but when I analyzed, it says second. It depends on the engine you're using. This case is depth 15, so it's not that good. Also h4, Okay, sorry, I passed e4, allowing bishop takes knight. That was a nice move. Bishop takes knight. I calculated that after pawn takes knight, I was completely fine. It's queen takes f3. That was my huge calculation. E4 allowed these tactics, so I thought it was already better for winning. And here you will see, like rook e7. That's a beautiful move. Like I wouldn't even think of that. That's just really impressive. Like rook e7, they cannot take the knight because then there's or the bishop because you have knight takes f7 and you're crashing there. That's just crazy for me. I just saw queen takes f3 and I went for this seven engine choice. But one was completely winning. Well, not completely, it was a plus one, but really difficult to defend for black. And in this case, it's fine. Opponent took, here I'm winning. Well, not winning, but it feels winning. Move for knight takes f7. And even though it will be two pieces for a rook, I thought it was better because I had the space and for intuition, I knew I was just better there. Like I didn't need to really calculate, it just felt clearly better. King f8, wow, king f8. Whoa, because our bishop take d6, they can cover somehow. Wow, that's really impressive. Like king f8 is just such an intuitive move. There's even bishop takes look like shit. Look at this. Like, king f8. It's nuts. Oh, if bishop takes d6, there's no rook f5. But if I take the rook, there's rook f5 and they take back. Wow, wow. These are just nuts lines. Okay. Crazy lines that just the engine is able to see king f8. I just took the rook. As you see, completely winning position. But two, not completely winning, but winning. Well, now plus three, you see. Now I had rook e7, crashing move, a really crashing move. Like I missed two times rook e7. Of course, rook e7 looked completely, completely crashing, but I just missed it because I didn't realize my reason to be winning. My reason to be winning is that I had that d6 pawn and I had active rooks, so I had to get the rook in this the seventh rank and attack and pressure those bishops that were really badly coordinated. But I just missed that and went from for d7, realizing the reason for the advantage. And of course, I thought that if queen takes d7, I was winning. Huge miscalculation. And because I thought that I had rook cd1 and I was so active that it should be winning. But no, not at all. But okay. And bishop takes d7, I still thought I was better. Because I had rook d1 and I had queen f7. Okay, it looks fine, but it wasn't winning anymore. Because in my calculation, I just thought this was fine. Like I just saw rook c7 to try to defend the bishop. That was my calculation. Well, now black is forced to rook c7, and well, I have activity, I have coordination. I'm gonna try to win this, but I just missed rook f5, and they're crashing already because I have no activity anymore. At least not a winning activity, and I still thought that I should be winning, of course. When you just think that you're winning in one move, of course, if you don't realize you have completely blundered the advantage, you still feel like you should be winning, and you might make a lot of mistakes. Then I played rook e6, and here my opponent, when we analyzed, I just I just told her a bit well. It will make more sense when I finish, so I will first explain her mistake and then my mistake. Like we I saw queen takes h4, and I thought, well, a draw. Because queen takes bishop and a draw. But she just thought g3, and she loses a piece. That's completely wrong. Because she thought she had to go back to queen d8 and then rook d6, and she was losing a piece. But no, no, no. He could just take. She was completely winning. So that was a miss from her when we were talking. She completely missed this idea. She was just attacking my queen, and I was losing. That was funny, actually. Okay, now there's probably queen b8 or something like that, and rook f8, and then queen takes rook, and bishop takes. That should be winning, because it's an endgame with two bishops and one rook, and that's really winning. But of course, yeah, that's just completely winning. This have been a little bit more of play. So that was her miss. My miss was that, look at this, rook f7, rook e6. I calculated that bishop takes rook, rook takes queen, and I was completely fine. That was my first calculation. After bishop f8, I didn't realize the point of the move. Just took the pawn. Completely huge mistake. Really lost already because I just remember bishop takes rook. And it's a good game. I had to resign it. I didn't resign because I was really disappointed because I thought I was winning at some points. I was. And I just threw. And after the game, I told her, but wait, wait. Of course, I didn't see the board in that point. We had seen the position. It would have made more sense. And I completely collapsed when I was analyzing with her because I told her, but you didn't, you then you could just take the rook at first, no? The first time I played rook e6, you could just take it. But I had calculated this. If I don't calculate that, I don't play rook e6 like at all. Like, why would I play rook e6 if I don't calculate rook takes queen? I wanted to avoid queen f6. If it seems like it doesn't make much sense, is to play rook d6 and to avoid queen f6. It's a multi-purpose move to attack and to defend. So of course, I told her, wait, it's not the same. And she told me, no, 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 because then you take my queen and then it's a check and you're winning. Also, that was completely purpose of bishop f8. So it was an interesting game to see, actually. A lot of mistakes from us, but it's to be expected. We are not GMs or even, well, she's a title player, but we are not even in the CM level. So we are not that strong not to not to make mistakes. Like mistakes are really expected on our games. So Rookie 6 is just it doesn't make much sense. But D7, it looked like a good sacrifice, but it just didn't make any sense to have good space, have a really great pawn, controlling a lot of things, to get into the position and then just sacrificing it. If I had thought, I don't know, 5 minutes about the advantages of that pawn, but of course, it was a rapid game, I had already 5 minutes, and I just calculated. And that's the problem with rapid. You don't think on concepts, you kind of think about them, but not as much as in classical. In classical, I think about every concept, every advantage of the pieces if I have time. In this case, I had time enough to think about it, but I just didn't realize it and went direct into calculation. Huge mistake. So it was a painful loss. The good thing is that in the round before, I had beaten, well, not in the round before, in the round before, because I beat a CM in round two, then I lost against another CM in round three, and then I played against this woman FM in round four. The bad thing is that I don't have the game against the CM because this was the only one that we had in footage. Like this one's the only one recorded. So well, I would prefer to have the game against the CM because it was kind of an instructive game. I just gave up a pawn without. I'm really happy about not having fear of my opponent, and I just play bravely. I think I can say I played bravely because I sacrificed a pawn, then a knight, then a rook, and then my attack just overwhelmed my opponent, and I just won the queen, and I won the game. So that was a good tournament. It didn't finish that well, of course, but it started really well. I was really happy about it. So this loss was painful, but I was still happy. So thank you for seeing this analysis. If you have any feedback to tell me or any question about the game, just put it in the comments. I will respond. And thank you for seeing. Please subscribe. Bye.